that. And share screen. That. And so thank you all for coming to this impromptu info session. So we're always going to talk about the conference. First off, this one I want to ask, who are student members of AMS in here? Anna, Kelly, Brian. I know Colin is. Fabian's not. Karsh isn't. Nico, are you? I'm trying to gauge and see how quick I have to go through this first part, since there's a couple. So to get the cheaper price at the conference, you need to become a student member of AMS, which is only $20 a year. So if you go to that website, to ametsoc.org, you go to membership and giving, you click join AMS. It'll come up with this. You just got to go to new to AMS, create an account. And it'll ask you to put an email in because they're going to try to check to see if you do have an account. So you're going to just type in an email and use your school email just so they can show you that you are actually a student and not just someone pretending to be a student. And then if you put in the wrong email, it'll say that you won't, if you put an email you don't have an account set to, it'll say you have the incorrect one, or it'll say no matching results. You click create account. If you do not have it, follows information to finish it. You have to pick student member, and it's $20 a year. Since I was already a student member, I wasn't going to go through all the steps. So there'll be steps after you get there. So for those of you who are not student members, you need to become a student member if you want to come to the conference. That was the first part. And then registration, Brian's working with, we'll be working with SAFC, which is why we have it, the form you guys have to fill out, because we need to take the student ID numbers and everyone that's going to be going so we can submit the funding request to get for registration. But I'm going to post this PowerPoint to Engage so you can go back and look at it because I have detailed instructions. If you click meetings and events, you go to registration. It'll take you to this page. You click the early registration. So early registration prices, which is $50 for this top conference, which ends, the early registration ends December 1st. And for the bottom conference, which is the student conference, it's $20 and the early registration ends December 15th. So if you click early registration, they're two separate conferences, so you have to register for both. If you register for one, it doesn't guarantee you're in the other one. It'll say, here's your two meetings. If you click one of them, you just have to click, oops, move that. You have to check them both and follow the directions to register. And Brian, I don't know what you're doing with SAFC, but I know when we did it last time, you have to save the receipt. So if it'll email you a receipt, you need to save that receipt when you do it. Anyone have any questions about that housekeeping before we actually talk about the conference?
So you want us to go ahead and register, like don't wait to see if we get funding?
Brian, Brian's the one that deals with the money in this. Brian, what do you think?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
All right. Well, you could go ahead and do exactly what you're talking about right now. But I just need to make sure that you're on my list when I go to SCFC. If you pay for it before, make sure you're on the list for funding.
Yeah, Kelly already submitted. She's the only one I have a form for so far. It's just Kelly. And obviously those who are actually like Brian.
But if you go through the school like that, I'm trying to remember how because you're going to get a refund. And it's probably going to come like, I don't know, like by mail or something.
Yeah, that's what happened last time. It came by the mail. Because there's like a form to fill out and you just attach the receipt to it. So I assumed after you submitted the names, they would have to fill out that form. But I didn't remember all those details. So I figured, hey, you can talk about that. But yeah, if you register, just keep the receipt. And then there'll probably be another form. As long as you're on the list, and there'll be a form that you have to fill out. They'll say like, oh yeah, we're registering for this. But since there's no travel, the form will be very condensed. So usually you have to explain how you're traveling and all that jazz. So you'll get back 70 because the one is 50 and the other one's 20. We're trying to get it done before the December 1st, so it's the lowest cost as possible. Anybody else have any other housekeeping questions? make sure there's nothing in the chat. Nothing in the chat? No, okay. I want to go through housekeeping first before we actually get to the more fun stuff. All right, what is the AMS conference? So there's others here who also could explain. Colin's been, Brian's been, and I have been. It's basically kind of a gathering of meteorology students, meteorology professionals, and more that get together. You can network with grad schools, people in meteorology careers, try to get internships, and you can just meet other meteorology students and be friends with different meteorology students from other schools. And there's also a lot of different talks and panels that are like a broad range of meteorology. Like you can have stuff from like mental health awareness all the way to just technical stuff. It's literally pretty much anything you can humanly think of. And they also have poster sessions, which some of our members, I don't know if they're doing student or regular, but there'll be a picture coming up later in the slide that they have posters. You present your research so you can learn about what's happening in the field and what people are actually doing in the field. It's good to know, be current what's going on. So that's what it is. And this is the theme of the conference. Each year there's a different theme for the conference. So this year it's strengthening engagement with communities through our science and service. I'm not going to read all that, but I just put it in there just so it's know what the theme was. And then this year it's going to be virtual, obviously, due to COVID. However, they're still going to make it the best opportunity because it's virtual. The early bird prices are cheaper. I've already explained what the prices are. And this little blurb at the bottom is what AMS has put out. So they're having oral and poster sessions, panel discussions, exhibits, all on virtual. And they're going to have different virtual networking opportunities and short courses available that you can do outside of it too. We don't know everything's going on with the virtual part because no one's ever had to deal with this before. So that's that. And there's some pictures. You can even meet sometimes with famous people. That's Steve Glazier and Karen German from Weather Nation. There's some hurricane hunters. And it's also fun at the same time. That's what those two pictures are. That's all of us who went last year. There's Jason. John never got in this picture because we couldn't find John, but John was also there, if anyone who remembers John. And this is not someone that goes to our school, but that's besides the point. There's John in this picture. So is that. And then here's the poster session I was just talking about. Usually it's set up like this where you have like a whole bunch of rows you can just go through and look at the posters. This time will be like in a virtual gallery that's also on the AMS 2021 registration website that they'll show a sample of what it will be, that you can just go through the different posters and see what people are doing. You can figure out questions. And there's one of the posters. This is one of my favorite from last year. That's the analysis of messaging used during Hurricane Michael. So that's what the posters look like in general. And then this picture is just through one of the presentations talking about emergency management and meteorology. This was the hurricane hunter talking, and this was Colin. Who was this again? He worked for SPC, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's Rick Smith.
I
want to say he's the Sioux, but I'm not sure.
Okay, I just forgot who he was, and I knew you.
Nope. Hang on. Actually, sorry. He might be the Norman CW. Yeah. No, he's the Norman one in coordination. Matt, actually, I think that's what he is.
Okay, yeah, I forgot who he was. That's why.
Yeah, he's the WC for Norman. Sorry.
Okay, so yeah, that's him. So they have a whole bunch of different people. You have people from emergency management to hurricane hunters to broadcast meteorologists, pretty much any field you can humanly think of. They pretty much are someone's represented at this event because there's a whole bunch of different people. So you can learn about different jobs in the field. You can learn what entails. You can learn experiences, all kinds of stuff at the conference. So that's all I had. Does anyone have any questions that could be from personal experiences from either Colin, Brian, or I? That's the best explanation I can give. Or any concerns, because I know a lot of people are undecided. Is there any concerns of why you were undecided that we could address?
I'm just undecided because I don't know what my work schedule is going to look like, and I don't want to commit to something that I can't do.
Okay, fair enough. Well, because worst case, once you can figure out what your work schedule is, we can figure it out after the fact.
Well, and I figured if I it's just $20. So if I waste 20, oh well.
It's 20 for student and 50 for the regular, depending which one you're going to.
But I'm hoping I can convince my job to pay for the regular one if I do that one.
Oh, that's true. They probably would pay for it.
I guess. But we're paying for it anyway, so I'm sure it's dark now.
Whoa, I say you turned the lights off. Well,
I'm in the class,
but yeah, no, that's what we're trying to make sure to pay for, just because it's a really good opportunity. So yeah, that's fine. What are other reasons why people are undecided? That Kelly already committed. I know that. Colin did. I think Karsh, Fabian, and Nico were still undecided. Do you guys have any questions? Or oh no, Josie was too. I forgot about Josie. I didn't scroll down all the way. Do any of you have any specific questions why you're undecided, or anything that we can address to maybe make it at least that part easier? No. Nico, you can use the chat box. I can't see you. I can see Fabian and Karsh. Oh, wait, here's the chat. All good. All right. Colin, do you have anything you want to say about it? That's more than what I could say, possibly.
Not really. Unless there's specific questions. That's really my...
I was trying to make sure I covered everything.
I don't know if you know yet or not, but are you presenting? Or submitting a poster or something?
Me or someone else?
I thought Colin said he might.
Colin. Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah. I haven't heard back from them yet.
I saw a thing on Facebook with a deadline or something that was last minute. I don't know if it was
a few months ago.
To that. Oh, okay. I swear I saw something this week that they were oh,
that was the club poster, which we're still trying to figure out if we're gonna submit that or not.
Isn't it due tomorrow?
Yeah, I need to tell them by tomorrow. That's why I asked Matt, and he just never answered. So, because I figured if he'll spearhead it, we can make one.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to make one. That's what we're still trying to figure out if we're going to, because that's what's tomorrow's deadline. Because the abstracts for student was a couple weeks ago, the deadline was, or something. I forgot the exact time, but yeah, no, tomorrow's is for if we submit the club poster. Which the club posters, they have a separate thing, or they show the clubs and what they're doing and pictures and stuff. So that's it's one row that they do usually for that. For people who don't know what we're talking about. Kelly keeps an eye on Facebook. But we'll figure out if we're going to do that, because otherwise they said even if you aren't going to do it, if you have any intention to submit it anyways, and you can just tell them, hey, we didn't actually do it, and they'll take you off. You let them know a week before. According to the release they put in the AMS National Officers Facebook group. Anyone else have any more questions? I tried to cover as much as I humanly could, and I just threw a bunch of pictures together so you can see a little bit of what a regular one looks like. So I forgot, when did I make the form is due a week. Oops. I think I made the form. The form is due a week from today, because we're going to have to try to get that submitted. If you don't know by a week from today and you just reach out to one of us, we could probably work with you. I'm sure we can give them one wave, and then we can give them another wave if need be. If we can give them one wave of early registration, if a couple people are late, I don't think it's going to be the complete end of the world. But attempt to get them in by a week before. I will send the form out again just so everyone has it. But you just have to put basically your name. You could choose if you want to go to just student, just the regular, or both. We recommend going to both of them. But if you only want to do one or the other, we're not going to care. And then they're going to ask for your student ID number I asked on the form. So
I actually was going to say about that real quick. So generally the way that Florida Tech starts classes, generally, if you're going to go to the full conference, you'd be missing a week of class. But since things are online this year, you have the unique capability of potentially being able to swing both. So you should really think about that. And also know that the student conference is really, really organized for students and not knowing what the heck's going on. And the regular conference is people mainly with master's degrees or PhDs presenting their research. Just keep in mind that the full AMS is very much designed for scientists to be presenting their work.
Yeah, and this year, just for a little timeline, the student conference is the weekend before classes start. So my recommendation is either just fill out the form and see if you can come back to campus the day before, get back on the Friday so you can actually be settled for it, or B, figure out which one you don't want to go to and plan accordingly your travel if you humanly can plan. That's my advice on that, because there's some talks you might not want to listen to, because usually at the regular conference they have like 4 talks at the same time. You kind of pick which talk you want to go to, because obviously everyone has different interests. They can have like one on social science and meteorology, they can have one on emergency management, all going on at the same time, so you have to pick anyways. But there's some sections that you just won't want to do anything. Even at the regular conference, there's like a time slot or two where we didn't want to do anything, so we used that time to go to lunch or go explore the posters or whatever. So that's my recommendation, is to figure out, plan accordingly on that part. Since he mentioned that, I wanted to interject on that one. Okay, does anyone else have any more questions, comments, concerns, hallucinations, as Dr. O would say?
Congrats to Anna on the job.
Yes. Yeah, Anna, we're so proud of you. Look at you. She's moving next week. She grew up so fast.
I know, it like hit me out of nowhere. I'm not an adult, but it's fine. Oh, I have a question that's kind of not related to AMS, but it's related to our club. So, I'm like gonna be hella lonely over break. So can we still have AMS meetings every other Wednesday and make them optional?
For winter break?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can, or we can, yeah, we can end up doing that. I mean, I don't see a problem with doing it.
Okay.
Just make them optional. It's not gonna count towards attendance if you can't come, because I know a lot of people are gonna be working too.
And I won't like take notes or anything. It'll just be like a scheduled time that we can talk about what we're doing and things like that.
And talk about weather, talk about what we're doing, maybe play a game or two like we did over summer when we played Cards of Humanity sometimes. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. So yeah, that's good. We can do that.
I have no idea what my family is doing, so I'm not going to commit to anything.
Yeah, it just depends. The only thing is depends on my work schedule, but otherwise my family has no life, so my family's like, I don't give a crap what you do as long as you work. So as long as my work schedule works, but otherwise I can send a Zoom link to somebody and they can just do it. Yeah. I could throw someone as a co-host and I can send a Zoom link, because I could put the email in. Like Brian, if Brian goes, I can throw his email in and he'll make him host. So yeah, that's fine. Even if some of us can't do it, and we can change them up and do different days, that's perfectly fine. Because some days, if everyone can do hypothetically Tuesday, we can do it on a Tuesday. But we can be flexible with that. That's fine.
Yay.
That works. Any other questions about anything?
Well, not a question, but just to remind everyone, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get funded. If you don't feel or don't really want to spend, $20, you could wait and I'll just do it when I'm in the office with Brian. Of course, that might mean that I might have to call you up and need more additional information, because then I'll be registering you on your behalf and just paying through the school. So it will depend. So just be willing to work with me, and I'm sure we'll get everything. And it's really a good opportunity. Last year we went to Boston and it was really fun. This year is different, but because it's way cheaper, I think last year we spent $60. That was the registration, and that's not including cost to travel to Boston and spend 2 nights in a hotel. So at this point, you're just gonna spend $20 to hopefully meet other people who study meteorology and weather. And it could be a great opportunity, even though we don't know exactly what virtual means. So if it's your first time, you don't have to do both, but it's still good to at least do the student. They're trying to get everyone involved this year, so it's online. Hopefully means we can all be involved. That's all I have to say.
And depending on COVID, because they did send out, this is all pending COVID, they would like the chapters to do stuff during the AMS conference together as individual chapters. So depending on how COVID is, we might be able to swing something for the regular conference. Obviously not really for the week, for the student, because it's the weekend we come back. But they sent an email out to officers saying that, hey, if you guys could do stuff in your chapters together and show us pictures and stuff, we would appreciate it. So, I mean, that was sent like a month or two ago. So, I mean, with COVID, they might say, no, don't do that. Y'all are idiots. So, I don't know that. I just know they said I wanted to mention that also. Okay. But, yeah, I will send out the form again just so everyone has the link for it. And if you could just fill it out as soon as you know, we would appreciate that. And I'm going to post I'll probably be either A, sending the PowerPoint an email, or B, I'll post it to Engage so you can see the step-by-step. I spent a lot of time on that. I was proud of myself. I spent a lot of time making those animations, so it actually made sense. Hopefully it made sense for everyone.
Yeah, it's very helpful. I'm definitely going to go look at it right after this and do it.
Yeah, that's perfect. So I did that just so, and for people who have never registered for even as an AMS student, it's a good opportunity to also be a student member, even if you're not going to the conference, because you also get the digital BAMS magazines, or if you get the physical ones, which is a lot of different, I heard something, sorry. There's a whole bunch of different like research and stuff. So if you want to start learning about stuff and if you're just reading it, the BAMS magazines are good. They come included in the membership.
Also, noted on that, it's not the full articles anymore. They changed it a year ago.
Oh yeah, well yeah, you can see
the articles. So not really even the full article. So honestly, unless you really, really like things in print, and okay with not actually getting to read the article that it's showing, you can do the print. Honestly, I'm probably going to stop doing the print just because to me, it's like, I liked it when it actually was the printed articles, but they don't even publish and print the full article anymore.
I still get the print. I just like getting mail because I feel sad if I don't get mail, to be honest. I still just like having a print. Either way, it's included with it. So however you want to do it, personal preference, but I want to include that. So even if you don't go, you really should register as a student member. And if you're already a student member, remember that you need to renew your membership. They end December 31st. So please renew your memberships if you're already a student member.
And they're not 1 year from when you registered. They're from the the actual calendar year. So even if I assume there's like a window. So I think if you did it now, you're good. If you did it in August, I think you still would have to renew.
Yeah, that's correct. Because the renewing opened up a couple weeks ago. So anything now goes till next calendar year. So renew.
I thought it automatically renewed, but I guess not.
They do automatically renew if you have it set, because I just renewed yesterday and there's a button that said you can automatically renew October 1st, but I didn't do it yet because I don't know when it'd be the following year if I'm gonna be a student or what. So I didn't automatically renew it. But if you're like a freshman or sophomore, I would recommend putting the automatically renew, and it'll just charge your credit card $20 October 1st.
Well, good luck on y'all's exams. You still have like a little bit more time to study now.
I haven't even studied barely at all. It's fine. I've already accepted it. But thank you for that. Anyways, anybody else have any more questions at anything? Okay, I see Car shaking her head. No, okay, good. Okay. Well, if you come up with anything, me, Brian, and Colin have been before. If you have any questions about the money stuff, go to Brian. I don't know about that. I would just send you to Brian. Sorry, Brian. I just send people to Brian. If you have money questions, go to Brian. If you have any questions about what the conference is, Brian, Colin, or I can answer any of those. But I will send the form out. The recording will go up so you can rewatch the recording, and I'll send the PowerPoint out as well. So on that note, I think I'm just going to end it. So, and we stop the share. All right, cool. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for coming.